All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says launch of RuPay in Nepal will enhance financial connectivity between the two countries. India and Australia sign economic cooperation and trade agreement to double bilateral trade in 5 years. Jammu and Kashmir government to develop 5 tourist villages within Dal Lake. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran to face no confidence motion in Parliament today. Ukrainian troops take control of entire territory of Kyiv region. Holy month of Ramazan begins today. Indian men's hockey team beat England 3-2 in the opening match of double-leg FIH Pro League 2021-22 in Bhubaneswar. And in IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans beat Delhi Capitals by 14 runs, while Rajasthan Royals defeat Mumbai Indians by 23 runs. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Nepalese counterpart Sher Bahadur Deuba held delegation-level talks in New Delhi yesterday. During the talks, the two leaders reviewed the progress in India-Nepal partnership and discussed ways to further their cooperation agenda. Prime Minister Modi and Nepalese Prime Minister Deuba jointly launched several projects on the occasion. They flagged off the 35-kilometer-long cross-border passenger train services between Srinagar of Bihar in India and Kurtha in Nepal. Both the leaders also jointly inaugurated Solu Corridor 132 kV power transmission line and substation in Nepal built under Government of India's line of credit. The two prime ministers launched RuPay card in Nepal. Following the talks, 4 MOUs were signed in the presence of both the prime ministers. Briefing media, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said the talks between Prime Minister Modi and his Nepalese counterpart were positive, forward-looking and covered areas like security, development and trade. Mr. Shringla said the most significant outcome of the visit has been in the energy sector. He said the two sides reached a consensus on harvesting and this collaboration covers the entire spectrum. Prime Minister Modi mentioned that he and his Nepalese counterpart also agreed to give priority to trade and cross-border connectivity initiatives in all respects.
प्रधानमंत्री देवबा जी और मैंने व्यापार और सभी प्रकार से क्रॉस बॉर्डर कनेक्टिविटी उस इनिशिएटिव्स को प्राथमिकता देने पर भी सहमति जताई। जयनगर कुर्था रेल लाइन की शुरुआत इसी का एक भाग है। दोनों देशों के लोगों के बीच सुगम, बाधा रहित आदान प्रदान के लिए ऐसी योजनाएं बेहतरीन योगदान देगी। नेपाल में रुपे कार्ड की शुरुआत हमारी फाइनेंशियल कनेक्टिविटी में एक नया अध्याय जोड़ेगी।
Prime Minister Modi said that they also stressed on the need to further strengthen the cooperation between defence and security institutions of the two countries. In his address, Nepalese Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba said during the talks, both sides shared perspectives on further strengthening the friendly ties between the two nations. The India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement was signed yesterday. The agreement was signed by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Trade, Tourism and Investment Minister of Australia, Dan Tehan, in a virtual ceremony in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Australian counterpart, Scott Morrison. The agreement encompassing trade in goods and services is a balanced and equitable trade agreement which will further strengthen the strategic relations between the two countries. Speaking virtually on the occasion, Prime Minister Modi termed the agreement as a watershed moment for the bilateral ties.
इतने कम समय में ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण एग्रीमेंट पर सहमति बनना यह दिखाता है कि दोनों देशों के बीच कितना आपसी विश्वास है। यह हमारे द्विपक्षीय रिश्तों के लिए सचमुच एक वाटरशेड मोमेंट है। हमारी अर्थव्यवस्थाओं के बीच एक दूसरे की आवश्यकताओं को पूरा करने का बहुत पोटेंशियल है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि इस एग्रीमेंट से हम इन अवसरों का पूरा लाभ उठा पाएंगे।
On his third day in Turkmenistan, President Ramnath Kovind will today visit the People's Memorial Monument as well as Bakhtiyar Sports Complex and the Yoga and Traditional Medicine Center in Ashgabat. He will pay floral tribute to Mahatma Gandhi's bust at the sports complex. Mr. Kovind will also visit the Institute of International Relations. The President will be present at the function of release of postage stamp commemorating 30 years of establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Turkmenistan by the Indian ambassador and the rector of the institute. Mr. Kovind will also inaugurate the India Corner at the Institute of International Relations. Later in the day, the President is scheduled to visit International Akhal Teke Equestrian Complex and then visit the Maktim Guli Theatre, where he will be treated to a concert with Indian and Turkmeni cultural performances. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan will face a no-confidence motion in Parliament today. The crucial session of National Assembly to decide the fate of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf-led government will take place at 11:30 a.m. Imran Khan, meanwhile, insisted that no-confidence motion is part of a global conspiracy to oust him and reiterated his decision not to resign in advance. Pakistan Prime Minister also said that he has credible information that his life is in danger. Imran Khan government lost majority in the National Assembly as key ally Muttahida Qawmi Movement Pakistan MQMP lent its support to the no-trust vote. Ahead of the no-trust vote, a petition has been filed in the Pakistan Supreme Court demanding suspension of no-confidence vote against Imran Khan government. The petition, filed by the ruling party, said that members of parliament are acting on the instigation of foreign hostile countries acting against the polity and integrity of Pakistan.
Ukrainian troops have retaken control of the entire territory of Kyiv region. In a Facebook post, Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said Russian forces retreated from some key towns near the Ukrainian capital. She said Irpin, Busha, Gostomel and the whole of Kyiv region were liberated. Ukrainian presidential advisor Oleksiy Arestovich said Ukrainian troops have retaken more than 30 towns and villages in the region since Russia announced this week it would scale down operations around the capital. Ukraine and its Western allies reported mounting evidence of Russia withdrawing its forces from around Kyiv and building its troop strength in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russian soldiers of deliberately mining areas in northern Ukraine as they withdraw. Meanwhile, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Russia's talks with Ukraine have not been easy, but the main thing is that they are continuing. He also said Russia would like to continue talks with Ukraine in neighboring Belarus, but Kyiv opposed the idea. Jammu and Kashmir government has decided to develop 5 tourist villages within the Dal Lake in Srinagar. These villages are Kachri Mohalla, Sofi Mohalla, Tinda Mohalla, Akhun Mohalla and Vegetable Market. These villages will have all basic facilities for inhabitants as well as tourists and local visitors. They will also provide home-stay facilities to tourists. Chief Secretary Arun Kumar Mehta conducted an extensive tour of interiors of Srinagar's Dal Lake and took stock of various ongoing works for the development of tourist villages. The Chief Secretary was accompanied by GOC 15 Corps Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey and other senior officials of J&K government. Chief Secretary asked officers to prepare a comprehensive plan for holistic development of hamlets in Dal Lake to create tourist villages.
Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi has expressed happiness in attaining record coal production and dispatch during the financial year 2021-2022. In a tweet, Mr. Joshi thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for opening up the coal sector of the country that resulted in the present achievement. Complimenting all the coal companies of the country, Mr. Joshi called upon them to keep fulfilling India's energy aspirations. During the financial 2021-2022, with 8.55% increase, India's coal sector achieved a record production of over 7,707 million tons compared to 716 million tons the previous year. At the same time, coal dispatch has gone up by 18.43% to over 818 million tons during the fiscal 2021-2022 against a figure of over 690 million tons in 2020-2021. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says launch of RuPay in Nepal will enhance financial connectivity between the two countries. India and Australia sign economic cooperation and trade agreement to double bilateral trade in 5 years. Jammu and Kashmir government to develop 5 tourist villages within Dal Lake. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan to face no confidence motion in Parliament today. Ukrainian troops take control of entire territory of Kyiv region. Holy month of Ramazan begins today. Indian men's hockey team beat England 3-2 in the opening match of double-leg FIH Pro League 2021-2022 in Bhubaneswar. And in IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans beat Delhi Capitals by 14 runs, while Rajasthan Royals defeat Mumbai Indians by 23 runs. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
क्या आप कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं? ऑल इंडिया रेडियो के नए प्रोग्राम अभ्यास में हमारे विशेषज्ञ आपके सवालों का देंगे जवाब। शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे FM गोल्ड पर। इस बार का विषय है इंडियन पॉलिटी एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। आप इससे जुड़े सवाल व्हाट्सएप करें 9289094044 पर या सवाल ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। भारतीय संविधान और राजनीति विषय पर आपके प्रश्न हमें 5 अप्रैल तक मिल जाने चाहिए। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back to the morning news. The holy month of Ramazan began today after the moon was sighted in many parts of the country yesterday evening. Worshippers offered special night prayers called Tarawih in local mosques in large numbers last night. Today is the first day of fasting. Ramazan is the 9th month of Islamic calendar and Eid ul-Fitr is celebrated at the culmination of the fasting month. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has conveyed best wishes on the commencement of the sacred month of Ramazan. In a tweet, Mr. Modi hoped that the holy month will inspire people to serve the poor. He also hoped that it will further enhance the spirit of peace, harmony and compassion in the society. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has greeted people on the beginning of the holy month of Ramazan. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, Ramazan symbolizes faith in God, purity in life and compassion for the poor. He hoped that this Ramazan will bring peace, prosperity and happiness in the lives of people. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 184 crore 64 lakh mark. More than 11 lakh vaccine doses were administered yesterday. More than 1 crore 84 lakh vaccine doses have been administered to 12 to 14 years age group so far. More than 2 crore 34 lakh precaution doses have been administered to the identified categories of beneficiaries like healthcare workers, frontline workers and people over 60 years. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
3rd April is the birth anniversary of freedom fighter and social activist Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay, who was born on April the 3rd, 1903 in Mangaluru. Common at the time, she was married at the tender age of 14 and was widowed only 2 years later. Kamla later became friends with Sarojini Naidu's younger sister Suhasini Chattopadhyay, who introduced Kamla to their older brother, Harendranath. The two bonded over a love for the arts and theatre and married in the face of much societal opposition. Kamla's father-in-law was a progressive thinker and encouraged her to continue her education.
In 1927, Kamala joined the Indian National Congress and threw herself amidst the freedom struggle. She joined the Seva Dal and then became an outspoken supporter of the Salt Satyagraha. She was a part of the 7-member lead team announced by Mahatma Gandhi in the Salt Satyagraha of 1930 to prepare salt at the Bombay beachfront.
When World War II broke out, Kamla Devi was in England and she immediately began a world tour to represent India's situation to other countries and gather international support for independence after the war. During the partition of 1947, Kamla Devi worked tirelessly in helping the migrants to establish new homes. She also helped set up health facilities for the people affected due to the traumatic partition of 1947.
Kamala Devi worked relentlessly for the upliftment of women. She pioneered the cooperative movement which helped raise the socio-economic status of women in the country.
Kamla Devi was an art enthusiast and worked to propagate art and culture of India. She focused on reviving the handicrafts and textiles of India. Chattopadhyay also set up the National School of Drama and later headed the Sangeet Natak Academy. Chattopadhyay also wrote about 20 books, many of which were inspired by her personal experiences during visits to foreign countries.
She was honored for her groundbreaking work with the Padma Bhushan in 1955 and with the Padma Vibhushan in 1987. In 1966, she was also awarded the Ramon Magsaysay Award for Community Leadership. In 1974, she was awarded the titles of Ratna Sadasya by the Sangeet Natak Academy and Desi Kotamma by Shanti Niketan, the highest awards of both the organizations. On the 29th of October 1988, Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay breathed her last. AIR pays tribute to the noble soul.
We also remember Bhuta Singh, Chuhur Singh and Imam Ali, who were sepoys in the Ludhiana Sikh Regiment of the British Indian Army. In 1857, they were posted in the Satluj Division. Influenced by the activities in Delhi and Meerut, these sepoys took active part in fighting against the British Army during the First War of Independence in 1857. However, they were captured by the British soldiers and charged with disloyalty and mutiny against the British rule. Bhuta Singh, Chuhur Singh and Imam Ali were tried and sentenced to death. They were hanged on the 3rd of April, 1858. We salute the brave sons of the soil. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said safety and security of the country is government's top priority and all efforts are being made to safeguard its unity and integrity. He was addressing a conclave organized by the Indian Air Force Station, Hakimpet, yesterday to commemorate Diamond Jubilee celebrations of Chetak helicopter service to the nation. The minister said it is a fitting tribute to those who have served the nation with hard work and dedication. He said whenever a country fights a war for the safety and security, it is not just the armed forces but the whole nation fights that war. Mr. Singh said the scientists, engineers and technicians of organizations like Hindustan Aeronautics Limited HAL that develop helicopters like Chetak and other platforms play an equally important role. He further said lakhs of employees and workers in MSMEs also contribute by supplying parts to these projects. Union Minister and BJP leader Kiren Rijiju has said that the recent decision to withdraw Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA from major areas of Assam, Nagaland and Manipur is a revolutionary decision. He said when AFSPA is withdrawn, it means that peace has returned to that area. Addressing a press conference in New Delhi, Mr. Rijiju said, some areas are still under this act which will be removed in coming days when the situation normalizes. Mr. Rijiju said that under the Narendra Modi government, the manner in which importance has been given to the Northeast and Look East policy has been turned into Act East policy and then action was initiated. The Northeast has entered into a transformational mode.
Union Minister of State for Culture, Meenakshi Lekhi, has launched the website Temple 360 in an event organized by her ministry in New Delhi under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. After the launch of the website, the minister wished everyone a happy new year. Ms. Lekhi said that during COVID, people were not able to visit temples. There are many reasons people cannot go and visit temples. The Temple 360 is that digital platform where anyone can visit or do darshan of 12 Jyotirling and Chardham from any location. She explained that through this platform, people can see and participate in e-darshan, e-prasad and e-aarti, which makes everyone's life convenient and also keeps people connected. Temple 360 is a website where one can visit a temple of their choice anytime and from anywhere from India. With the help of this website, one can digitally witness the magnificence of some of the most pious Hindu pilgrimages that exist. The website also allows a devotee to perform e-aarti and several other services. Union Ministry of Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, organized zonal conference with 9 states and union territories, including Punjab and Haryana, at Chandigarh yesterday. Presiding over the conference, the Union Minister said, ensuring holistic development of women and children in a safe and secure environment is crucial for sustainable and equitable development of the country and for achieving transformational economic and social changes. Ms. Irani informed that the prime motive of the ministry is to address gaps in state action for women and children and promote interministerial and intersectoral convergence to create gender equitable and child-centered legislation, policies and programs. She added that Union Cabinet has approved 3 important umbrella schemes, Mission Poshan 2.0, Mission Shakti and Mission Vatsalya of the ministry to be implemented in mission mode.
Junior Skills 2021, the country's first championship for school students, ended on a high note in New Delhi with felicitation of more than 60 winners with cash prizes, certificates and medals. Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Atul Kumar Tiwari, felicitated the winners. An initiative of National Skill Development Corporation, Junior Skills Championship is India's skill competition for school students, was launched in partnership with CBSE. The gold medal winners will get an opportunity to travel to Shanghai in October this year to experience from close quarters the World Skills Competition, the world's premier skill competition where different countries participate for the ultimate recognition in skills. It was announced that the second edition of Junior Skills will be renamed as India Skills Junior and a new logo was unveiled. In the IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans beat Delhi Capitals by 14 runs in Pune last night. Put in to bat first, Gujarat scored 171 for 6 in the stipulated 20 overs, riding on Shubman Gill's 84 and Hardik Pandya's 31 runs. For Delhi, Mustafizur Rahman picked up 3, while Khalil Ahmed took 2 wickets. Chasing a target, Delhi were restricted to a total of 157 for 9 in 20 overs. Rishabh Pant top scored with 43 runs. For Gujarat, Lockie Ferguson scalped 4 wickets and Mohammad Shami took 2. Gujarat Titans registered their second consecutive victory. Earlier in the day, Rajasthan Royals defeated Mumbai Indians by 23 runs at D.Y. Patil Stadium in Mumbai. Rajasthan's opening batsman, Jos Buttler, was declared player of the match for scoring 100 off 68 balls. Rajasthan has 2 wins in 2 games, while Mumbai has lost 2 consecutive matches at this season. Today, Chennai Super Kings will take on Punjab Kings at the Brabourne Stadium in Mumbai at 7:30 p.m. Indian women's hockey team started its campaign in the FIH Junior World Cup with a convincing 5-1 victory over Wales in their Pool D match in Potchefstroom in South Africa yesterday. Goals were scored by Laldrim Siami, 4th minute, Laldrin Key 32nd, 57th, Mumtaz Khan 41st and Deepika 58th for India. Wales' lone goal was scored by Millie Holm in the 26th minute. Indian team's captain Salima Tate was adjudged the player of the match. The win took India to the top of Pool D with 3 points. Next, India will play Germany today in their second Pool D match. The Indians will then take on Malaysia in the final pool match before the quarter-final round, which starts from Friday. Indian men's hockey team beat England 3-2 in a shootout in the opening match of the double-leg FIH Pro League 2021-22 at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar yesterday evening. The scores were level 3-3 after regulation time, with Abhishek 14th minute, Shamsher Singh 27th and Harmanpreet Singh 52nd minute scoring goals for India. England's Nicholas Bandurak 88th, 28th minute and Sam Ward scored in the 60th minute to level the game. As per FIH Pro League rules, if scores remain level at the end regulation period 4 quarters, the match is considered a draw and both teams get a point each. A shootout follows and the winner of the shootout bags an extra bonus point. Both the teams will lock horns against each other again in the second match of the tie today at the same venue.
In Jammu and Kashmir, the first ever open kayaking and canoeing marathon race in River Jhelum, organized by J&K Sports Council, was flagged off by Chief Secretary Arun Kumar Mehta yesterday. Around 100 participants, including 10 female athletes, took part in the marathon, which started from the Zero Bridge to the Ganpatiar area of Srinagar city. The race had 4 categories, which included senior, junior, K1 and K2. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. Jammu, the minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. Leh will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. Gilgit, the temperatures will hover between 7 and 28 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 16 degrees and the maximum will be around 35 degrees. The national capital Delhi will have clear sky. The temperatures will vary between 17 and 39 degrees Celsius. Mumbai again will have clear sky. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Treading on a deeper economic partnership, India-Australia strike interim free trade deal is a front-page headline in the Hindustan Times. The Asian 8 states, PM Modi, Nepal PM Deuba, flag off India-Nepal rail link. With a state of public emergency in Sri Lanka, Lanka clams curfew as food fuel shortage trigger protests, informs the Sunday Pioneer. Ringing a bell of caution, the Times of India writes, heat wave may sweep Delhi from Tuesday. As the world opens up and economic recovery gains pace, global business travels pick up, predicted to make a full recovery by 2024, writes the Financial Express. With a pickup in overall business momentum, salary hikes may exceed pre-COVID levels this year, states the Economic Times. And finally, the Hindu carries a picture of a sub-adult kangaroo rescued in the Bekunpur Forest Division of West Bengal. Joys in forest reveal smuggling in Bengal.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says launch of RuPay in Nepal will enhance financial connectivity between the two countries. India and Australia sign economic cooperation and trade agreement to double bilateral trade in 5 years. Jammu and Kashmir government to develop 5 tourist villages within Dal Lake. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan to face no confidence motion in Parliament today. Ukrainian troops take control of entire territory of Kyiv region. Holy month of Ramazan begins today. Indian men's hockey team beat England 3-2 in opening match of double-leg FIH Pro League 2021-22 in Bhubaneswar. And in IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans beat Delhi Capitals by 14 runs, while Rajasthan Royals defeat Mumbai Indians by 23 runs. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.